Okay, students, so I'm going to look at question 5a, which is going to be useful when you have Mailmerge in your scope. So they're asking at question 5a1, use the Mailmerge function to create a data file using the names and information in the table below. So we're going to use that. And then they say you have to save the document as question 5a and print it in landscape orientation. Okay, now this is very important. When they ask you to create the actual data file, okay, you need to not use an existing. Okay, so Mailmerge starts as follows. You're going to go into your Word, you're going to open up a blank document. You're going to choose the reference tab in the ribbon. Oh, sorry, not the reference, the mailings. Apologies for that. Mailings next to references. And you're going to say start Mailmerge. Okay, that's fine. And then you're going to go to step-by-step Mailmerge wizard. Okay. Now you will see, obviously, when this is big, you will see it like this. So I'm going to keep it just for the sake of this part of the video like this. It says step 1, and you want to type a letter, which is correct. You don't really do those except for labels, but for now we're going to do the letters. Then we're going to say next. We're going to use the current document. Yes, that's fine. And next is we have to write our letter. So we're going to select our recipients. Now, sometimes you can use an existing list, but normally in N5, they at least want you to be able to type a new list. And this is where you have to now click if they ask you to create that. Okay. So before we go into that, I just quickly want to minimize my screen so that you can see what is going on. Okay, so it's still sharing the correct screen. Now, if they say there, create, you know this is the path you need to follow. All right. So they ask you, and this is important that you have a look at what exactly they are asking you here. They say, those are the names, the fields, the name, the date, and the closing date, and the entrance fee. So there's 4 fields they want. Okay. So we are going to say, okay, we want to create, and this is what we want. Those are the entries that's there by default, okay, which we don't want. So we are actually wanting to customize the columns. Remember, the columns are the names of those 4 fields. So whatever you see there at the top on the horizontal bar is actually those 4. So we're just going to make use of 4. So I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to say yes until I only have 4 left. Okay, so I'm going to delete. Okay, it is time consuming, but at least you're doing it correctly. Now let's say, for instance, you get here and you've by accident said 3, and you see, oh, I want 4. Then you just add a new one, and you're gonna call it whatever you want to call it. But let's start with the ones that's already there. Okay, so you can either delete everything, or you can use the existing ones and say rename. The first one you want is name, and you're going to say okay. The next one, and make sure you click on first name and say rename, needs to be date. Okay, remember the field names are those ones there. The closing date, click on the one, otherwise it's going to go back to the other one, needs to be next, and make sure that if they give it to you in all caps, in capital letters, that you do it as in the same format. And then I want to add another one, and that's going to be entrance fees or entrance fee. Okay. So let's say by accident you want that one to go up. You just say move up, but we're not going to do it now because everything is correct. And I'm going to say, okay. All right. So that is all done, and we are happy with that. Okay. Then I want to say, okay, because everything I see there on the horizontal bar is here on the vertical line of my column. So I'm going to say, okay. Okay. Now, before I can do that, sorry, I obviously have to create my list. Okay, so unfortunately, I need to quickly do that again. So I have to delete all of those things I first need to delete again. Sorry about that. Because I have by accident pressed the wrong button. But anyway, now you can revise this with me. So you make sure you've got the amount of fields you want. Yes, and then you just go on and rename to the ones given to you. It's going to be name. It's going to be date. It's going to be closing date, rename, closing date, and it's going to be entrance fee. Okay, so you're going to say okay, and just note the currency, but I'll get to that now. And you're going to say okay, and don't make the mistake I did now and say okay, because we still need to fill in those people's names. So the first name is Henry Kritzinger. Okay, Henry Kritzinger. Okay, then his date. Now this is maybe sometimes confusing for the students. The date is now underneath, but here it's next to it. So just take note of that. That's November 2019. Okay, and then the closing is the 10th of November 2019, and the entrance fee is 200. Okay. Now I want a new entry. So I'm going to say new entry, and I'm going to type in Tony Tio. Okay. And I'm going to type in by the date, the 21st of November, 2019. And the closing date is going to be my examination number. Okay, so if examination number stand there, it will always be like that. You'll have to type in your number, whatever that is, or your ID. And then by entrance fee, they want your question. So you're going to type in question 5A. This is for marking. Okay, so don't think they've actually done something wrong. That is exactly what it should be. And then you're going to say new entry, and you're going to do the last one, Milan Pool or Pool, and hers is then the 22nd of November 2019. And I actually see that his entrance fee is not question A, sorry, it's 280. Okay, just make sure that you don't make that same mistake like I did now with my eyes. And her closing date, look there, it goes next to one another, is question 5A, and her entrance fee is 280 as well. Okay, let's just, I'm just going to see what's going to happen if I actually leave it in that currency. Okay, so I'm going to say okay, and now here comes the part. You have to save the document as question 5A. So you're going to say question 5A, and now make sure you can't change this. It's fine, don't change it. Just make sure that you do save it in your exam folder, okay, and save. Now you will see it appears like this now, okay, which is fine. So you're just going to say okay. Now you keep in this file, okay? You're not going to change anything. You're going to keep there. You will see now that it is actually changed into a database file, which is correct. Now, they say save the document as question 5A and print in landscape orientation and place the printout in your examination folder. Now, quickly have a look here. In my examination folder, which is now here, you will see that there is a question 5A. Okay. There's a one with a lock on it, and there's one without. Open the one without the lock and say enable content. Okay. And click on the table, because this is the one that you're going to use. Okay, this is important that you need to know this. Then you're going to go to File and you're going to go to Print. Now, let's say you are at a college where you can actually print this. You're going to say Print and you're going to choose the printing options. Okay. In this case, you can't. So you're going to have to save it for me as a PDF. So you're going to say Microsoft Print to PDF. Okay. And you're going to go into Properties and you're going to choose Landscape. Okay. Your letter size shouldn't be letter. It should be A4. Okay. So I just quickly want to make sure that you can see that. Okay. So this is important that you do this. Okay. So we went into the properties. Okay. So we went into properties and we said we wanted landscape. And the advanced options was to choose it as A4. And then you're going to say, okay. And you're going to say, okay. And you're going to say, okay. And then it's going to open up this. Okay. Just sure to make sure it's still sharing. And you're going to share it with me, or not share it, but you're going to save it as question 5A. Okay. This is important that you do it like this so I can see that you've done it correctly. Okay. And you're going to do it in your exam folder and you're going to save. Okay, so that's fine. It's saved as a PDF. Okay, let's carry on now with question 5B. So question 5B is asking you to now do the actual mail merge. Okay, so if you read there, it says use the mail merge function to prepare the letters to the members' primary document. So the primary document is the one that they're referring here to. This is the primary document. So you're going to have to type that in. You're going to have to say essay Youth Championships or chips, yes. Now they say that must be Albrina 16 point uppercase and bold and center. So this must be home Albrina. I'm going to type in an E to go to the E in the alphabet. It must be 16 and it must be center aligned. Okay. And then it must also be bold. Okay, so that is the things, but just take note that the rest of the document must be in Courier New 12. So I'm just quickly going to make it bigger so that you can see. Now from here, you're going to press enter, but now everything is gonna be in that specific one. It's going to take on the Albrina. It's going to take on the bold. It's going to take on the 16. So make sure from here on forward, you use the correct options that's given there. It says there, it must be in Courier New and it must be in 12 point and it shouldn't be bold. So take it off, take it to Courier New. Choose the correct one. Courier New and 12. So that whatever is happening from here is correctly done, and take it back to left align. Okay, or you can just actually use the normal one if it was set like that in your styles. Now, very important that you do this in the correct way. If you go and have a look at your question paper, it says there that the tab stop must be at 10 centimeters from the margin. But look very closely. There is a line that you can draw on that side that's neatly. So I know the alignment needs to be left on my tab stops. So make sure you understand that. That line over there says there needs to be one space. So I'm putting my paragraph marker on to see that there's one space. Then I go one down, so there's one space given. I go into my paragraph settings, which is in my home ribbon. I choose that and I say I want to put in a tab and I want to put it at 10 centimeters. I'm just putting in the 10 because it's already calibrated. And I said I want it left aligned. Okay. And there shouldn't be any leader. And then remember to press set and say, okay. And then you have to actually use your tab stop on your keyboard to let it go there. So you're going to then put in the PO box, enter, press tab, everything else. Okay, you will see my document is unfortunately now given on multiple, but that's fine. Yours won't be set like that. Okay, so this is quite important that you understand how to do this part. Okay, then again, there's only one space. Okay, only one space. Now, the reason I say there's only one space is if I have a question paper and it looks like this, and if you don't know this, then I'm going to show you exactly. This is the manuscript sign that they're giving to you. Okay, so let's say this is the manuscript sign and it looks like this. This one is turned around. Okay, now you need to understand that that space given to you in between the lines represent one paragraph space. Okay, so look at these blue lines and go and look at your question paper and see that there is only on your template one space. If there was over here another line, then there would have been two spaces. So you're not counting the line, students, you're counting the spaces. So only one space. Okay, obviously that's not going to be part of your question paper. You're just putting it on to see that you're doing it correctly. Then you have to insert today's date. That's a function you have to do. You're going to go to insert and you'll have to choose the date and the time. Okay, you can say update automatically, but it's not really going to make a difference because yours is going to be saved either as a PDF or it's going to be printed. They don't give you a format. So I'm just going to choose the first one. Okay. Then going back to your question paper, you have to say dear. Remember, there's another space. So you need to put in a space there. That is the space there. And then you have to say dear. Make sure you do it exactly as is. And I think I actually, yes, they don't want that to be capital letters. They just want it to look like that. Now that name is not something you type in. That is a field. All those brackets or fields. Remember, you have done Mailmerge. So you're going to say mailings and you're going to say start. That you're still here, you're still in the same document. That's why I said use the same document and say next, write your letter. Okay, next, preview your letter and next, complete. Now you're going to put in your field. There's the name, the Henry Kritzinger. Okay, but now let's say if you don't want the actual one, so you don't want the name to appear there, you just want the name to be appeared as that, then you shouldn't go to that next step. Okay, so take it to the previous step. You're going to say, I think it's not going to let me, yes, there it lets me do that. So on step 3 you can do it like this. Okay, then if I go down, don't let the fact that those brackets are open end arrows bother you, then those are block arrows. Don't let it bother you. Okay, to save some time, I'm not going to type out that whole sentence, but you are going to do that whole paragraph in the question paper. But make sure that there's spaces. Okay, and then they are asking you here that this, they don't ask for, it doesn't look like there's any tab stops over here. So I'm just going to use my next tab. Okay, so it says the venue. So I'm going to have my venue next to this. Venue. Oh, struggling with my capital letters now. Just let's do it like this and tab, but I don't want it there. So I think maybe, not sure, they don't specify, they don't specify at which one. So I think I'll just maybe use, you see, this is not completely, okay, let's just use the tab stop anyway, because I think it's actually going to go down. No, it's not. See, this is a bit confusing for me because I don't specify the tab stop and I can't use the center alignment because then it's going to take that whole thing down with me. So, you know what? I'm just going to put it over there and make it in the middle. This is, they must specify a bit more. So let's just quickly look at our Portuguese hall. So you're going to put all of those things in there. Portuguese hall, you're going to put in, but see that is not, it's not center aligned. So they actually want a bullet. So what I will do is, because that one, I'll just put on my ruler, because that one is on 9. I'll probably put that on 8. Okay, that's probably the best option to do. So normally they will say that, but I think they actually want you to just see that it's supposed to be on 8 centimeters. And just say set and say okay, and then that is the next one. So you're going to put the name of the venue, the other options, and the other options. Okay, so there we're right with that. And then once that for Eastwell and Johannesburg, then the dates, the closing date, and the entrance fee must be put in there. So you're going to put in the date, then you're going to press tab. I think there must be a space in between those. Then you're going to press tab, and then you're going to say you want to go back to mailings and insert that field of date. The next one is going to be closing date. Press tab and put in your closing date. Then you're going to put in the entrance fee, and you're going to press tab and you're going to put in your entrance fee. Okay, so this is exactly what they want. Then there's a little N4 knowledge that you need to do. You need to put in that table. But according to me, that's not going to be part of your scope. Let me just make sure. If it is, I will send you a little guidance on that. But for me at the moment, it's important that you understand the rest of the Mailmerge. Okay, so if we go down, they say merge the documents question 5A and question B. Now remember, this up until this point over here must be your save the document as question. You must underline the field names, okay, and insert fields where indicated, for example, name, underline the field name. So you need to put in, there is the name. So you're going to go and underline that, okay, and underline all of those. Okay, so you're going to go over and underline all of those fields. And then you're going to file save as this as question B. Okay, so this becomes question B. Remember, the rest of you need to save it like this, but you need to print it as a PDF for me and save it as question B. Okay, so I can mark it digitally. Then keep this open. Don't close it, because you're going to work on the next one now. You're going to see at question 5, so you need to merge the documents 5A and question 5B into a document. Don't let this confuse you, okay? So basically, the only thing that you do is you literally go and just do step 5 and 6. They say you change the header to question 5C on all the pages of the new document and save the document as question C. So don't bother with that step. This is what they want. They want this step 5 and step 6 to happen. And when this happens, you will see that you want to print all. So once you've done that, and you say, you can either also say edit all, then this will become one big one. Can you see there's Tony and there's Milan? And if you put in the header question 5C, then it's also going to appear on all the other pages as well. You'll just have to put it in there, okay, because it sees it as a section. Okay, so you can just say link to previous, or you can actually go and copy it, if that's probably going to be the easiest. Okay, so you can all just go to all the pages and make sure you link it and say yes, or you can just copy that and go paste it on all. Okay, so that is how you do then question 5C, 1, 2, and 3. That merge means finish step 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So don't close that document up ever. Just work from it. And then this letters you're going to save as question 5C then again. Okay, question 5C. Just type out your question. Don't put it out like me. Okay, and then for the rest of you, you are obviously going to go and say file print to PDF, and when you say print, you're going to save it as question 5C or question 5B. Okay, so that is Mailmerge.